Howdy, howdy, and welcome to Mo's World, the baseball podcast. Yep, another baseball podcast where we talk about baseball like a few friends sitting at the bar. Awesome. We're excited to bring you our latest episode. If you enjoy the podcast, spread the word to your friends. In Season 2, Episode 36, we're going to talk about the last weekend of the season. And what a weekend it is! Yeah, we are right now in production on Thursday. I tried to wait as long as I could with everything happening, but holy cow, this weekend of the season is unbelievable if you're a baseball fan. The Tigers collapse, the Mets falling apart, the Yankees and Bluejays going down to the wire, the Guardians, Raleigh, the MVP choice, the Reds. Holy cow, where do we start? Well, I guess we gotta start with the Colossal Collapse. And you know we're talking about the Detroit Tigers. I'm looking at the standings of July 8th, 2025. They went from being in a 5-game winning streak, playing .635 ball, and having a 15.5 game lead, to now they're 1 game out and experiencing an 8-game losing streak, playing only .538 ball. From 25 games over 500 to only 12 games over 500 now. Everyone is pretty aware of that now. But look at the Astros as well. In July, they were running away with the division. They were leading by 6.5 games and playing .598 ball, 18 games over 500. Now, they are 5 games behind the Mariners, playing at only .532 ball, struggling with hitting and pitching, and they're only 10 games over 500. So basically, we've had 2 collapses in the American League. Now, let's look at what's going on in the National League using the same dates. Now, on July 8th, 2025, the Mets were tied in the National League East with the Phillies. 14 games over 500, playing at a .576 clip. Today, the Mets are 4 games over 500, playing .513 ball, and sitting at 12 games behind the Phillies. Wow! And look at the Cubs. They've quietly shrunk. On July 8th, they were in first place, 2.5 games in front of the Brewers, playing .593 ball, 17 games over 500, and a lot of people were talking about the Cubs. Currently, they sit 6.5 games behind the Brewers, 20 games over 500, still at .563, but the Brewers went from 12 games over 500 at .565 to 33 games over 500, playing .604 ball. Damn, they have been the hot team in the second half. Many teams have flip-flopped from first half results to current results, and it all comes down to the same theme we keep talking about this year. And that, this is funny. Everyone has had shitty bullpens, right? And I was talking to a top baseball man recently, and he said, the fact is we suck, and we just need to suck less. I love that term, and that's exactly how bullpens have been described this year. Bullpens have sucked for almost everyone. So whoever is hot with starting pitching and has a bullpen that sucks less, that's your winner this year. I'm still going by that. It's repeating itself over and over. Now, if we look at the difference in the first half top 10 ERA teams to the current, current leaders. Yeah, there's no wonder why they're in the top, Cleveland Guardians are putting together a 3.32 ERA in the second half. Who's number 2? The Brewers. And the Dodgers have bounced back with a 3.59. The Red Sox at 3.62. The Padres, the Rangers, the Cubs, even the Athletics have bounced back and are playing much better in the second half as they have a 3.78 team ERA. That's enormous for them. Seattle Mariners are 9th at 3.83, and the Reds are 10th at 3.87. So those are our current leaders. Now, pre-All-Star ERA leaders, you can say, where are these teams now, right? The Texas Rangers led with a 3.28, the Royals with a 3.49, the Giants with a 3.50. The Mets had a 3.56. The Astros at 3.61. Oh, where did all these teams vanish to, right? And the Padres, Brewers, Phillies, Tigers, and Pirates finished out the top 10 in pre-All-Star ERA leaders. Now, the current bottom 10 teams, it's not going to surprise you, right? I mean, we're going from 20th in the league, the White Sox at 440, the Cardinals at 442, the Tigers at 443. Their bullpen and starting pitching has imploded the second half. Same thing with the Giants, a 448. Their pitching brought them to where they were in the first half. And then you got we know who the last teams are. The Colorado Rockies still putting together a 6.65 ERA even after the All-Star game. The Twins have imploded. The Nationals, Angels, and the Braves. All disappointing. So that's our current 10 teams in the bottom ERA. So the Mets went from having a 3.50 team ERA in the first half to a 4.79 after the All-Star break. You can fully understand that collapse. The downward spiral of the Tigers shows the same trend. And like I said, the problem with the San Francisco Giants as well. These teams went from, best pitching staffs to worst. How did that happen? Did everybody just get bad in 3 months? Crap pitching has been the theme this whole season. And next week, we're going to wrap up the title of the teams blowing the most games late in the game and determine if the blown saves record was topped this year. So I wish the podcast could have had final results on a lot of topics because these are what we're hanging to right now. Will the Mets hang on to a wild card spot? If the Diamondbacks or Reds can pass the Mets for the third and final wild card spot? Will the Yankees catch the Bluejays for the Eastern Division title? Will the Guardians pull away from the Tigers now that they have passed them for the division lead? In that case, will the Tigers even hang on to a wild card slot? And will they make the playoffs after leading all year and being talked of as the team to beat in the playoffs? And after never winning a World Series or being in one, the Mariners, holy cow, how are they going to end the year? And will the Astros hang on to a wild card as well or lose out in the final days? And when I'm saying final days, it's Friday now if you're listening to this. And we've got 2 days left of the season, and damn, we've still not settled on a lot of things. Now, there's a lot of teams probably that are kicking themselves right now. They're sitting there, putting their equipment on or taking it off and throwing it across the, whatever they want to throw it across. But teams since the All-Star break, such as the Texas Rangers, the Kansas City Royals, and the San Francisco Giants. Now, we waited for these teams to get their act together because of their pitching was keeping them in everything. But as the leaders self-imploded, these teams still could not consistently win. So, for that reason, they had the opportunity. The carrot was in front of the horse's nose. The Rangers, Royals, and Giants were in divisions where they could have had it. They could have had it. So what about Cal Raleigh? Damn, what a year. When Roger Maris had a career year in 1961, it's the same as Cal Raleigh is enjoying his career year that could lead to an MVP. And he still has a chance to tie or pass Aaron Judge's 62 home runs hit in 2022. I don't know. I believe he captures the MVP, though. It's an amazing year, and being a catcher, you got to give him a little more than just kudos for that. He may have been the spark for the Mariners. And this year, Paul Skeens has put together, a fabulous year, but it does make me sad. Because like I've said over and over, he could be the player the Pirates build around and reestablish themselves. But Paul Skeens has a calendar. It's probably in his locker, and it shows him how many days are left before free agency. So there's no chance of him staying with the Pirates. That's unfortunate, I know. Okay, I guess I sold out too. How do I grade the chances of teams entering the postseason? Okay, gambling's all over Major League Baseball, so I might as well join the party. I'm putting the Phillies at 3-1 favorites to win the World Series. The Brewers at 5-1. The Guardians at 5-1. The Mariners at 5-1. The Yankees at 7-1. The Dodgers at 7-1. I'm putting the Bluejays at 8-1. Diamondbacks 9-1, along with the Red Sox, and the Cubs, Reds, Mets, and Astros all at 10-1. The Padres at 12-1, and the team that kicked ass all year long until recently, the Tigers, at a 12-1 chance to win the World Series at this point. What else? We've got some classic wild card rounds that could possibly exist. Starting with the Tigers and Guardians, that could be another round of, Tigers, Guardians. And, of course, the Yankees, Red Sox. In the American League, I see the Guardians and the Yankees prevailing. Mariners over the Guardians, Yankees over the Blue Jays, and the Mariners go to the World Series. In the National League, I'm going to say Dodgers over the Mets. And Mets is still hanging there at this point. Padres over the Cubs, Phillies over the Dodgers, and Brewers over the Padres, and Phillies over the Brewers. World Series, Phillies over the Mariners. So there you have it. We'll see what happens. Honestly, I have sucked at predictions as well, so what the hell do I know, right? So let's stay tuned for the final couple of days, as there are many things to be decided. Once again, the team with the hot starters and the ones who suck the least in the bullpen will win the World Series. I think this is a wrap for today. Thank you for joining us for the 36th episode of Season 2 of Mo's World, the Baseball Podcast. Our regular schedule for new episodes is every Friday, with each episode lasting approximately 20 minutes. A little short today, but there's still so much to happen within the next 2 days, I didn't really want to get carried away. We appreciate your support and encourage you to share the podcast with your friends. Our next episode will be released on Friday, October 3rd, as we look at the blown saves leaders for the year and the potential playoff round. We look forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, ask yourself, whose world is it? It's Mo's World.